This is Chapter 5, Lesson 5, Independent and Dependent Events. The independent event is when one event does not affect the outcome of the other event. Probability of independent events. Let's look at it. Probability of an A or a B, I'm guessing out of the alphabet. Okay, so you would have probability of selecting a vowel. Well, there's 5 vowels out of 26 letters. Okay, now we have a vowel and a coin. So the vowel is going to stay 5 out of 26, but then we're going to have to multiply that by the coin. And so the coin has 2 sides, so it's going to land at a 1 out of 2. Can't land on both. So you multiply straight across, and you're going to get 5 over 52. Those are independent events. Nothing affected the other one. Okay, dependent event. If the outcome of one event affects the outcome of another event. Okay, so example 3, we have 4 oranges, 7 bananas, and 5 apples. If Johnny selects an apple and then an orange, what's the probability? Well, the first one is an apple, and there's 5 apples. So 5, but how many total do we have? Remember, this is part over the whole, and out of the whole fruit that we have, there's now 16 fruit, right? 4 plus 7 plus 5. Well, 5 out of 16 are apples. Now then, if I want to choose my orange next, and I didn't replace my apple, now I have 4 oranges, but if I did not replace my apple, how many do I have now? Because I chose this one, so now we're down to 4. It'd be 4 plus 7 plus 4. That would be 15 because I didn't replace it. So, multiply straight across. But I'm not finished because this is reducible. 20 can go into 240, so we're going to divide by 20. 1 over 12. Okay. Now, the next example 4 was, what's the probability I drew 2 apples? Okay, so again, I started off with 5 apples out of 16, but I did not return the apple. This is why it's dependent, because I didn't return it. So it affects the outcome of the next event. So now I only have 15 total, and I have 4 apples left. Multiply across, I'm going to get 20, and, oh yeah, 240, simplify again, 112. Okay, so this one, the outcomes are not dependent upon each other. It's independent. The first outcome is not going to affect the second outcome. But on dependent, if you don't replace that apple, the second outcome is very dependent because you have less fruit. Okay, so dependent, the second outcome is affected by the first outcome. Okay, let's look at your homework. I do believe we do the odds. So I'm going to write odds up here. So number 1, the 2 spinners at the right are spun. Determine the probability. Okay, I have this spinner, which is all numbers, and I have this spinner, which is all letters. Okay, so what's the probability of me picking a 4? Well, there's only one 4 out of 8 numbers. Okay, that one doesn't depend, the next outcome doesn't depend anything on that one because it's a whole nother spinner and it's nothing but letters. So what's the probability of me getting a C? There's one C, so 1 out of 6 because there's 6 total. Then you need to multiply and make sure you have it in simplest form. Multiply across, just like we did in our notes. Okay, number 3, what's the probability of an even number? Let's see, even numbers would be 2, 4, 6, 8. So 4 out of 8, and then a C. I see only one C out of 6. Okay, multiply straight across and make sure you simplified. Number 5, probability of greater than 3. So how many numbers are greater than 3? We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5 out of 8 are greater than 3. And then a B. How many B's do we have? 1, 2. So 2 out of 6. You can reduce this now, or you can just multiply across and reduce at the end. But make sure your answer is in simplest form. There are 10 yellow, 6 green, 9 orange, and 5 red cards in a stack of cards turned face down. Once a card is selected, it is not replaced. Determine that probability. This is a very dependent because it's not replaced, just like the fruit in our notes. Okay, so I'm going to write it out because I want to visual everything. There's 10 yellow, 6 green, 9 orange, and 5 red. Okay, so how many cards do I have together? I think it adds up to be 30.